So we've got the BeQuiet SILENT BASE 601, and oh, it's broken already. So we're just going to have a look at this. There's going to be no build in this actual case. It's just a standalone review. It's how they like it, these companies. It's how I like it as well, nice and quick, and then I can just go home. No, I'm joking. No, but it is going to be a standalone review because obviously loads of people are going to be putting different components in. Sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it does not make sense. I'm waiting for new components to go in here and then it would make more sense. But as you can see, it looks freaking quite delicious. So it's meant to be an upgrade from the other version, the other predecessor, the old school version. And yet it looks like a complete different new case. So I'm going to go with that. It's a complete different new case. Oh, look at it. It does look pretty sweet actually. So let's start from the top of the case itself. We've got a fan controller, so we've got one increment at the bottom, two in the middle, and then three. Then we've got a USB at the side here. Don't know if it's USB. No, it looks like USB 2. A microphone jack, headphone jack, power button, nice and very premium. And then you've got what button is that? Like the reset button, sorry. Then we've got an LED indicator for your hard drive or your hard disk drives, and then we've got USBs 3, which are 5 gigabits per second. Then we've got like filters or like some sort of Ferrari sort of look. Actually do like it. I think it looks pretty decent. On the front, we do have a lovely brushed, yeah, it's colour brush aluminium or steel, maybe more like steel. And then we've got underneath as well is the dust tray, which is quite a long one, easy to clean, chicken wire thing. Ooh, so it's pretty nice looking. So you've got like a handle, you put it out and it's simple as that. And then you slide it back in. Where is it's about here? No, it's not there. Where are you? Oh, is it not easy to get in? There we go. I think that's it. There we kind of go. There we go, and then it's nice and locked in. It gives it a nice little. It's actually got some sweeping good looks, to be honest with you. But no intake on the front there, but intake on the sides here. It's about a finger width and a bit on each side, which is alright. It's not too bad. But at least they're trying to get some cooling in there as well. And then we spin it around the side, glass panel, press this button here, this opens up and it holds in the catch, doesn't drop off and break. We'll talk about that in a sec, because we're going to talk about the back real quick. So around the back we have a 120mm fan on the back, and you can put in obviously a 120 in the back there for the screws and 140 on the back there. We've got your graphics card that can stand up against the glass as well, and we've got 7 expansion slots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 expansion slots on the side there. And then this is new, this is a bit like fractal design here. I wonder if it's captive screws. Holy crap, it is captive screws as well. Alright, I like the idea of this. So you can put your BeQuiet power supply and attach it on there first, put all your cables on. They've put some insulation on there as well, so it doesn't like mess about with the vibrations. It keeps the power supply in check depending on what power supply you've got. And that is a nice little feature. I actually like that. That is cool. Anyway, it's got these 2 buttons here, and one's to obviously take the glass panel off with the side panel there, then one's to take off this back panel. And all it does is like you press the button, and then it comes out. It feels quite weighty, and then you lift up and it's out. That's a freaking good idea, Mr. BeQuiet. Bloody hell, Mr. BeQuiet. Now, I've known about foam, but like this is like foam that you get in a studio. This is about near enough. This has got to be near enough a centimetre in depth, in thickness. This is completely thick. Right, okay, they want this stuff to be quiet. Now this is going to be quiet as F. There's no doubt about that with this thick panel. It's got a lot of stuff on it though, for like a panel, I must admit. So it's got like these little ridges that like slot down and stop it from falling out. But that's a lot of craftsmanship there going into that one side panel. Anyway, you've got the glass panel, press the button, pull it, lift up, and it's out. This feels pretty weighty. It looks tinted by about 10%, maybe 15%. It's got the same craftsmanship on there as well, so that looks cool. I know what it's for. So you can rest them on the glass, and look, you've got all that padding. That's pretty sick. That's pretty sick as well. Anyway, let's spin the case around itself. Obviously, you've got the shroud. This case looks fairly bigger than the other one. Its older predecessor. Its younger brother. It definitely looks bigger. It feels more like a 700, if you're asking me. Now they've made this a little bit more simple. They've opened up. They've opened out this bit here of the shroud, so you can basically get more distribution of heat out the case. That's what it looks like it's gone for. But then they've also gone away with so many flaps on here. So normally when you do this, this is when you can set yourself up for water cooling. And moving the hard drive tray as well. So 2 plastic tabs makes it quicker for ease of use. Yeah, so you can easily put water cooling in here, but it doesn't look like you can put the biggest or the fattest radiators in there, but you can definitely put a radiator in there. Now if it's BeQuiet's own make, then obviously it would fit in there no problem. They add the 140mm Pure Wings 2 fan in the front there. It looks like you can put in another 2 big 140s and obviously 320s in the front there. So that's pretty decent. Nice rubber grommet holes that we've seen from this old predecessor cases, which I like these. You can change them out, change the colour, especially if you've got a white one. You can have white and black theme, or they should just do different colours really. Anyway, this is where it hides all you can put more drives in there for mechanical drives to hang out. So basically you'll take an intake of cool air from the front and the left as well, and have the hard drive being cooled over and then exhausted straight over the graphics card, or exhausted through the back 120mm fan at the back. Now that fan does not look like 120, I swear it looks like 140 in the back there. That is a 140. Right, sorry. You can put a 120 and a 140 in there, and they included 2 140s in there. So this is Pure Wings 2, and this is Pure Wings 2 as well. So 2 of them. Mechanical hard drives on the bottom, as I said before. Then you've got a couple. Well, people ask me about standoffs on the motherboard. Now I can see the standoffs are there. Depending on what motherboard you've got, mini ATX, normal ATX, or full ATX, you can put it in there. But can you put an extended motherboard in here? Can we? We cannot. We cannot put a full size motherboard in it. It is a bit too small to do that. But have we got removable tray and stuff? Yes, we do. I think we do. No. What is this? What is this? What is this? Oh, this is for the SSD, so we can move the SSD. And is it captive screws? Yes, captive screws. So they're keeping it nice and easy, so you don't lose everything. I actually thought this might have been a removable motherboard tray, but it's not. I guess you can get that on the 900 and the 900 Pro series, revision 2, so that's pretty decent. 360 at the top, 240 or 280 at the top there, 280, 240 at the top, 120, 140 radiator at the back there as well. You've got this nice little grill at the top here. It's got a couple of screws as well. I like these buttons, they feel a bit more premium than what they were before. I can't remember what that was on though. It was on one of their cases, I think. You've got nice, it seems like you've got a nice bit of exhaust that could be happening here. But you can also use these as well to cover up your cables on the side, as well as use them as hard drive bays. Now the ones that I used before, I think I've kind of broken them, and they've still got the same old white clips, which I don't really like because I did snap it when I was pressing a little bit too hard. They're a little bit weak and fragile, and I don't like them. That's the only thing I don't like about this. I like how it looks aesthetically, it's really nice. But when it breaks like this sort of thing, it's not very aesthetically pleasing anymore. Anyway, you've got cables. We've got one attached straight away from the front I/O, and it's plugged in into DC power connector from the back of the fan, so it's not PWM. You also got USB 3 that's nicely cabled, but it's a flat trim cable, not like the round thick cables, so it should be able to fold up into your case more. They put another DC fan connector there as well, then obviously USB 2, then all your fan clips as well, which I'm going to go through because some people might need this for RGB and might use their reset switch as RGB, in some cases don't have it. So you've got plus and minus LED, and then you've got your HDD LED, and then you've got your reset switch and your power switch, and then your HD audio, and you've got a SATA connector rather than a Modex connector, which is decent to see on cases. This has got all flat cables except for the the HDMI and obviously the USB 2. All the rest of the cables are kind of flat, which is nice, unique sort of thing to see on this case, because on all the other cases that I've reviewed, they're normally round and everything like that. It's got shock absorption pads on there for your power supply, keep it standing up so it doesn't vibrate and make loads of noise, so they thought about that, keeping that silent. It's got a nice little air vent at the bottom as well. It's quite nicely cut out. Looks like you've got plenty of room for a 480X power supply, and you can route the cables right through the back there as well. You can put 2 SSDs in here, or you can put 2 3.5-inch mechanical hard drives in the top here. So same sort of design of like the 3 screws from the 900 series and obviously the 700 series as well, going up into a line, and I think that's pretty decent. Still freaking need a screwdriver to undo the screws, so yeah, you need a screwdriver to undo them. It looks like you can put a fan underneath the bottom as well. I wonder what the feet are like on here. Let's have a look. As soon as you take off that them side panels, it's really freaking light. Right, so let's pull this filter out and let's get it in properly. Actually, we'll get it in a minute. Yeah, so it looks like you can put another 120 or a 140 on the bottom here as well, so you can have that underneath, which doesn't make any sense. Why would you have a fan underneath there? Unless if you took the hard drive out, I could understand it, and then you can have cooling for your hard drive, so it can cool and blow air straight up into, I'll show you what I'm talking about in a sec. Let me just put it back on there. So if you had a fan that's 140 at the bottom here, you had all hard drives that are mechanical, obviously they're right into the disc, which is going to make friction. Friction is going to produce heat and stuff as well as metals and that, producing heat. Eventually within about an hour it's to start to be warm just on the hard drives if you've got those hard drives in there. So if you had a fan 140 or 120 and it's blowing air upwards, it would keep in half of the hard drives cool, and then the intake of cool air can be taking the rest of the hard drives straight over to the graphics card, motherboard and MOSFETs and phases, and straight out into the exhaust. We do have some air vents that look quite Ferrari or Lamborghini like, and it has got quite a lot of honeycomb air holes right at the top, which is pretty decent. Now what do you get with the box? So if I spin this around, what you get in the box is what you always get in the box, I believe, probably more hard drive trays. So if you're all about mechanical hard drives, then this is for you. And I was right, see look, mechanical hard drives and the orange grommets as well that go in there with it. So yeah, you get all 4 of these grommets, and these grommets are vibration friendly for your mechanical hard drives. Use them plenty of times and they do really do what they're meant to do on the do-do tin. So yeah, got 3 screws, captive screws, follows the same suit of design from the back. Well, actually it'll be like this. I think it's quite cool. So as you can see, mechanical hard drive, fan blowing, cool air straight over. Not a problem, Mr. BeQuiet. So they always add one in there. That's what another thing I like about BeQuiet. They do add in the Velcro cables. I like these. These are so handy rather than cable ties. I freaking hate cable ties. They do give you a few though. I think they give me, what, there's a 6 here. That's not too bad. And they give you all the screws that you need, and all separated in bags so you don't lose them all. So we've got all the screws for the motherboard, all the screws for the hard drives. What one's this one? I don't know what that one is. That one's... Oh right, so we've got a stand. Oh, so give you a standoff tool as well. No, actually, they don't give you a standoff tool. What are you playing at, BeQuiet? Where's the standoff tool? Well, a standoff tool is like a little hexagon tool thing, and then you put it on the standoffs and then you unscrew it and it's no problem. But what I do know is that if you have a problem with your motherboard and you take it out really quickly and everything like that, they have a standoff ready to go straight in the middle, which positions the motherboard perfectly without it falling. That's pretty cool. But they only can include one standoff, so if you lose one standoff, at least you've got another standoff. But it did not include a standoff tool. Please BeQuiet install in your packaging a tool for the standoffs, because other people have different size motherboards and it's just useful. Anyway, big cutout as with normal, so you can literally put the motherboard in and take out the retention bracket at the background. What is going on in this case? It's on something. It's on those big cables. Right, there we go. Yeah, I think this is a nice case. To be honest with you, I think it's going to definitely highly be quiet. There's no doubt about it. Fitting in big graphics cards not be a problem, but I would just watch out if you're using a mechanical hard drive. Then watch out if you're going for a massive hard drive, but graphics card. But it should be fine. Graphics cards, I doubt you could go too big on the radiator. I don't know why I said graphics card again. Radiators, because technically once you put your radiator in there, it's going to be like you've got about that much thickness of it, which doesn't give it enough room, especially if you're going to put a fan on there as well. But the fans actually go inside the cage this time around. But what I would do is I'd put the radiator on the inside and then put the fans on the outside. So maybe it could work, but you can't go very thick. You can go to like a normal standard radiator in thickness, but in length no problem, and in the height no problem as well. But with thickness you're going to struggle. It's going to hit the MOSFETs and obviously the heat sink and stuff on your motherboard, because even though this is a 140mm fan, by the time you put the fans in, you've got a thick radiator, it's going to be covering over unless you move it over a bit. If you're using a thick radiator for a 280, then you'll be okay, but it still will clash if you want to get two 360 fat radiators in there. It's not going to be good. But anyway, there's still a million screws with this case as per usual. The case looks stylish. I definitely am going to put a build in it, and once I've done that, then I can do like a torture test on the case for airflow and stuff, and obviously for silence. That's what they're all about. They're about the silence and about performance. And yeah, aesthetically pleasing. Yes, orange and black goes really well, but once you've seen it once, you've seen it all the time, and it would be nice if you can do some different colours and stuff. And it's weird that they've opted away from the RGB as well. Every company seems to be going the RGB route, and then basically they've gone, nah, I'm not worried about RGB, we're going to keep it simple. I like that. So if I want to pull off the front real quick, oh, there we go, that's how you do it. I nearly broke it. Look how thick that foam is. They are crazy. Does this foam actually work being that thick? Gamers Nexus should answer that question really, because he does all in-depth reviews about stuff like this, and this would make sense for him to like obviously see this. But is this going to be a heating issue because it's quite a thick foam, even though we had foam in other cases? But yeah, anyway, got this button here, push down and then pull out, and you've got a nice filter, easy to clean, easy to get to your fans and everything like that. As you can see, not that much room. Has got like little air vents and stuff like that, pocket air vents I should say, but who knows, until I've actually built into it, it's a different story. And as there's different components, it might be a different heat distribution of, like, say we had different generations, like 6700K was okay for warmth, but then when it came to 7700K, crap processor, really hot. Depending on the silicone that you got, silicone lottery, you don't really hear about that much, but you don't really know. Obviously if you're using M.2s, that's going to run a little bit warm. SSDs run warm as well. If you put it all together as a collaboration, you start to get warmth if you pack it out. But everyone's got different configurations. Some people use mechanical hard drives, some people use SSDs, some people are going to use M.2s, some people are going to put RAID zeros and like overclock their SSDs, some are going to overclock their computers and overclock their CPUs. Different temperatures and different scenarios and different manufacturers, different copper on different motherboards, different resistors, different transistors. So literally everything's always different depending on the manufacturer on this case. So anyway, hope this was in-depth review enough of the Silent 601 BeQuiet case, and I'll see you next one. Thanks for watching. Actually, before you go, subscribe, share, like, follow me, check the link in the description down below if you want to go and purchase this case, and I'll see you next one. Thanks for watching. Roger and out.